Non-Defensive Communication by George Gill. 1. Core Principle. The central idea is that defending yourself in an argument often backfires. Defense feels logical, but it usually means accepting the other person's frame, where you become the one on trial and must justify your behavior or character. By stepping into that role, you lower your own status and hand them authority over the conversation. Instead, asking calm, focused questions quietly reclaims that authority and shifts the interaction from emotional attack to thoughtful examination. The problem with defense. Defense turns a disagreement into a courtroom where you are the defendant and the other person is the judge. This dynamic pulls you into proving your worth or innocence, rather than examining whether their claim is fair or accurate. Because of this, the discussion stops being about the issue and becomes about your justification, which deepens tension and often leads to escalating conflict instead of resolution. 3. Frame, control, and questions. Every argument has an underlying frame, a hidden story about who holds power and who must explain themselves. When you immediately defend, you silently accept their frame that you are the one at fault. Questions, however, change the frame by placing both people side by side, examining the claim rather than your character. This shift in structure restores balance, slows the interaction, and creates more room for clarity and nuance. 4. Let's slow this down. What specifically are you reacting to here? This question pulls the conversation out of emotional chaos and into focus. It asks the other person to name a concrete trigger instead of attacking your whole character or history. By doing this, you stay calm, refuse the role of defendant, and invite clarity instead of escalation. 5. When you say that, what are you assuming about my intent? Here, the spotlight moves from what you did to the story they are telling themselves about why you did it. Many conflicts are fueled less by actions and more by assumed motives. This question gently surfaces those assumptions so they can be examined and, if needed, corrected without frantic self-defense. 6. Let's deal with this one point at a time. Which one matters most? When someone brings a long list of complaints, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and defensive. This question organizes the chaos and asks them to prioritize. It turns a swarm of issues into a single manageable topic, which reduces emotional pressure and makes problem-solving possible. 7. That is a conclusion. Walk me through how you got there. Instead of accepting harsh labels or sweeping judgments, this question redirects attention to the reasoning behind them. It slows the rush to verdict and asks for the path, not just the destination. In doing so, it often exposes leaps, gaps, or distortions, all without you having to argue or prove your worth. 8. What would need to change here for this to feel resolved for you? This question shifts the frame from blame to resolution. It invites the other person to articulate a concrete end state rather than simply criticize. By asking what resolved looks like, you transform them from an accuser into a collaborator and anchor the conversation in practical change instead of endless argument. 9. Underlying rule and application. The rule beneath all these moves is simple. Defense gives away authority. Questions take it back. When you notice the urge to defend, treat it as a signal to slow down and choose one question instead of launching into explanations. A calm tone, genuine curiosity, and willingness to listen allow the other person to hear themselves and often reveal weak assumptions or exaggerations in their position. As the frame changes from attack and defend to clarify and understand, many arguments lose energy and collapse on their own, leaving space for genuine resolution instead of ongoing conflict.